let me invite Dr. Daniel de Graaf from the German Environment Agency to our virtual stage. And together we would like to do a recap of yesterday. Welcome, Daniel. How
Hello,
are
good
you
morning,
doing?
Julika.
Good morning.
I'm fine and a bit excited, of course.
Perfect, perfect. Yes, serves the occasion. Would you like to share your insights with us? What are your learnings? What are the things that most interest you from yesterday?
Well, as it is the case for, I would say, every conference, there are lots of things as a take-home message, things I learned, I was not aware of. And yeah, there was a few things I would like to share with the audience today. So we had a wonderful keynote from Daniel Colburn from Refridge, and he gave a good overview of how to achieve comfortable conditions in buildings. And he reminded us, basically, it's not about having air conditioning to feel comfortable, but you just need to, you need to have comfortable room temperatures. So how to achieve this? And yeah, it's not only done by, oh, there are alternatives to just classical ACs, and but he also said that, well, modifying existing buildings in that way is often quite a problem and quite costly. And he gave one more example of how when we talk about sustainability of AC systems, it's often about energy efficiency. And he said, well, there are boundaries because getting a CUP of the refrigeration cycle of 25 means you need to have 20 times the size of the normal heat exchangers. So that would leave just very few space for living. And so there are quite a lot of, well, there are boundaries for the classical room air conditioning. So this so much for the keynote. And we had David Beringer, who gave insights into a study he did for us, actually, for the German Environment Agency, looking at TV values. So, well, basically efficiencies of chillers and condensing units with UHFCs or HFOs and natural refrigerants. And well, he found out they are more or less comparable. So he debunked the claim of the fluorochemical industries that the synthetic refrigerants are the better ones, the more energy efficient. That is not what you can find. So the evidence is showing clearly, well, they're comparable. And so the direct refrigerant emissions, they're becoming more and more important because we decarbonize our electrical grid. So it's only direct refrigerants which remain. And so this problem becomes or goes more and more to the forefront. So we really have to shift to natural refrigerants also to get rid of the TFA problem. And well, we have the Kigali Amendment. We all know that here, I think, in the audience, and also PFAS ban in Europe. So natural refrigerant is the only way to go. We had insights into projects all over the world. So there were the example from South America, from Colombia, from Hilda Mariaca Orozco, who told us about district cooling in Colombia, about a pilot project in Alpujarra, which deals with ammonia, R717, and several other cities there. We had a wonderful example from Africa, nearly zero energy building example, which is cooled by an R2090 chiller, which has an 88% solar coverage. So the electricity which goes into this chiller is from photovoltaic panels. So very sustainable. We had insights into the district heating system and modulations in Germany, how to cope here with sustainability issues, And then in our session 3, that was the last session of yesterday, we had 2 speakers, which was Mikhail Pitaj-Mukoli from United for Efficiency, and he stated that the potentials for energy efficiency, they are the highest for room air conditioning, and this was quite a high number, 410 terawatt hour per year. So this is really a lot of energy which could be saved. And the establishment of minimum energy performance standards is really key here. And he also stated, because we then also got, of course, the refrigerant side in there, and he said, well, R290, besides that it's flammable, it's not a problem as long as safety standards are followed. So this is really important to train the technicians accordingly so they can deal with flammable refrigerants, and then it's fine. And then our last talk for the day was by Ana Luisa Dutro and supported by Denis Medvedev from IFC. And the topic was financing for sustainable cooling. And they said that there's the enormous amount of $8 trillion by 2050, which could be saved by sustainable cooling. So this is quite a lot of money, and so a huge incentive to really go into this direction. And also just with passive strategies, so not using a compressor, not using the standard ACs, would already save $4.6 trillion. Huge amounts, which could be saved if we do air conditioning more sustainable. And he said, well, in order to move the sustainable technologies forward, we need to strengthen the demand side. So architects really have to recommend these strategies. Planners have to implement this kind of technologies in order to get them into the market and to really, to make these savings happen. So this is pretty much it, which I took from yesterday's presentations as take-home messages. And there are a lot of interesting talks to come. So we have in our session 4 today, and I'm really happy that we have such prestigious speakers such as Mark Nevenhuizen in the session, which will talk about the passive cooling strategies, and not only at buildings, but just, greening cities, which does avoid a lot of health impacts and even deaths in quite astonishing numbers. And so sustainable cooling, passive cooling, this will be the big topic of the next session. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for referring back to yesterday's really impressive numbers and insights. And thank you so much for your recap.